Hi, guys, and welcome. Angela Jenkins believes life is a gift, and her ikigai, her reason for being, is to appreciate and live her most fulfilling life, inspiring those around her to do the same. Angela is the co-founder and director at the Kaizen Institute of Health, a speaker at international fitness conferences, runs private workshops, and presents to corporate groups. In her 18 years of international experience, she has a long list of clients with life-changing results, taking personalised health to a whole new level. She is also continually working on optimizing her own physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual strength. She joins me today, and we are talking about personalised health and epigenetics. Hey, Angela, welcome.
Thanks for having us along today. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. I'm personally really interested in the field of personalised health. So let's just dive straight into that. How does it differ from a regular health approach?
At the end of the day, we're all unique. So we're all made up differently. And so we need a different approach. So generic programs just aren't really working anymore. So, what I do is really take a personalised approach to the individual and do a plan, specific to them. And it's been an absolute game changer in my life and in all the people that I work with as well.
I think a lot of people have this blanket approach to health and well-being when actually one man's cure is another man's poison, right?
Oh, it's so true. And, like nearly every night on the news, something's reported, this person got amazing results doing high intensity training, or this person got amazing results on the Mediterranean diet, or the next night it's a high fat diet, or, doing endurance training. So there's all these different things. And the fact is they're all right. They're all correct. They're just not correct for everybody. So it's finding out, in fact, they can be harmful, like, as you said, to certain people. So it's about finding out what's actually right for you. And technology is becoming more available these days where we can actually do that a lot better than ever before.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So I'm fascinated by epigenetics and epigenetic testing. Can you take me through that science? What does it entail?
It's pretty groundbreaking, but basically we've all been given our genes that we can't change. So, we've all got these 23,000 genes that are passed on from our parents, but we can't change those. But the good thing is epigenetics is about that genes can actually be switched on and switched off, or dimmed up and dimmed down. And that's by our environment and lifestyle choices. So if you make specific environment and lifestyle choices, you can get, say, good genes to, switch on more, and the bad genes to dim down and lead a lot more of a healthy life. So the technology that's available now, it incorporates 15 different sciences. So there's all these amazing sciences going back thousands of years to Eastern medicine, as well as new Western medicine sciences around embryology, chronobiology, neurosciences, all of this stuff. So what they've actually done is collated all of this into a platform, which basically incorporates all of this information and layers it to give you your specific epigenetic profile. So there's probably a huge amount more to it, but that's the basis of it. They've collated all this to incorporate for your genes and what's switching on and switch off and what is best for you.
So what kind of things could you uncover by taking an epigenetic test?
Yeah, well, lots of things. But, for example, from a nutritional point of view, it gives insight into sort of how frequently you should eat. And I'm seeing this as a game changer for so many of the people that I'm working with. Like, some people need to eat as soon as they wake up and every 3 hours, otherwise they get really hangry, right? Other people do better with fasting and, don't need to eat till 10 o'clock and just 3 times a day. So it talks about all of that from our science, because we've been born with different lengths of our digestive tract. So some people are shorter, so they need to eat more frequently. They need to have more movement in their life. Others are longer. So it can tell you the time of how often you should eat, the times a day. It can also look into the types of food. Like, some people are more protein, they need more protein in their diet. Some people need more vegetarian-based food, so it's really interesting when you start to, look at the combinations of those. And that's just the nutrition. Then it talks about exercise. Some people do better exercising in the afternoon than the morning. Others do better with high intense explosive work. Others do better with the slow, steady cardiovascular work. And then you've got, lots of different lifestyle and mindset and other things as well, which drive health. So it gives so much information. It can be quite overwhelming at times, but it's really amazing once you decipher through it and work out how to use it.
Okay, so 15 different types of science lay it over one another. I mean, that's pretty specific. And I mean, for someone like myself, I think for the most part, I'm pretty in tune with my body. I've started fasting and I definitely feel like I function better on that.
Yep.
I avoid certain foods and, increase my intake of other foods. I would love to get into the real science, and I can't wait to get my epigenetic results and work with you on optimizing my own health. So let's talk a bit about that. Once someone has their tests done, how do they use those results?
Yeah, so you get there's a platform, so you get access to this platform, this whole site, which has all the specific data for you. So you go through the process of the testing, and then you get access to this privately for you. So you can click on it, and it talks you through all the different foods and to why they're important for you, things that are higher priority versus the lower priority. And it goes into so much information. And at the end of the day, I couldn't. I've done a lot of different studying. I've been in the game a long time, but you just can't store that level of information in your head. It's
Mm.
physically impossible. So having it all, this data is amazing. So you get that, you'll get lots of different recipes based on your high-base foods. You click in and you can work through different exercise routines as to what's suited to you. Then lots of mindset tips about understanding how your mind works and behaviors, and making choices about those. Looking at different social things, the environment that is best for you, and also understanding that for different people, there's different priority areas. So for some people, like for me, mindset and social are really important drivers of my health, whereas for other people, it is the food and exercise. So, if my social connections aren't there, that will impact my health greater than someone else. But I've really noticed that hugely, because I get a hit of oxytocin and I get this energy that I make better food choices. I've got more energy to exercise. So it's understanding that level as well, that health is, a whole lot more than what we think it is. And once we understand that, people are really loving that. They kind of know it intuitively, but they go against it because we're told not to do those things. So it's getting them back to their, how they should be. And that acceptance and, loving themselves for who they are has just been so powerful with what I've been doing.
Yeah, I think it comes down to, right, they know it intuitively, but when they see the signs to back it up, they think, okay, what I've been doing is actually working. So that's fantastic. And I also think it's great that it does incorporate not just the diet and exercise elements to it, because there's so much more that we should be looking at when it comes to wellness. As you mentioned, like your social life and how you feel when you're around people, how much alone time do you need, what kind of schedule you should, you work best at. So yeah, it's fascinating. But how does someone go about getting their epigenetic testing?
Yeah, so I actually provide the testing. So, if people are interested, they can contact me and they go through it. So they can contact me and I'll actually send them out a private link and all the instructions about how to go through the process. And once they do that, they get access to the platform. So yeah, it's quite in depth in terms of a lot of the questions. It's based on a lot of anthropometric data, which is again really fascinating, the science behind that. And yeah, so once they go through that process, and yeah, we can set them up. It's actually easy, like you can do it from home. It can be set up pretty comfortably. So that's what's great about it as well. And it's about just implementing it then, picking some things to actually work on. And yeah, some of the changes that I've seen in people are groundbreaking, to be honest. Like you just get to what people need a lot sooner, as opposed to trying all these different things and then going, oh no, that's what works for me. You actually pinpoint it a lot earlier, which is really great, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's something I was going to touch on. Your success stories range far and wide. You've worked with billionaires to world champion athletes and banking executives to, BAFTA award winners. So what are some of these biggest results that you've seen? I'd love for you to share some.
What I love is when people accept themselves, like for who they are, because when you're fighting against something and trying to be something else, you create this resistance, right? So, and I think the epigenetic profiling, along with, I do other hormonal and blood chemistry stuff as well, but once you pinpoint what is actually going on for a person, it just shifts everything. Like, and you don't only see, you see the typical things like, they improve their gut health, they get better energy levels, they lose a bit of weight, like all of those things are really great. But when you're layering it with all this other mindset and social stuff, you really see relationships change. You see their interactions at work change. You see so many other things change as well. It's really quite life-changing. It's like it wakes up people. People might be going down this path and all of a sudden they I try to help them wake up to realize, oh no, this is the path. And so you're shifting them to there, and it's really this optimizing not only their health, I suppose, but their life. It's a whole lot deeper, and that's what I really love.
I mean, you've worked with all over the world in various health and psychology roles, which I would imagine lend themselves very well to what you're doing now. But how do you work to stay relevant and for your clients and the work that you're doing now?
I guess for me, like I'm always looking for how someone can live their best life. So I'm really passionate about people living their best life. And so I'm always keeping up to date and keeping up with different studies and different courses about, I guess I've got an innate thing, how best we can do that, and I'm always looking for, the best way to do that for a person. So yeah, I guess I'm very driven in that way. And part of the reason, I'm driven there and my whole life is, honoring, I guess, my son's legacy, who he lived for 104 days. So I just have this passion for people to live their best life, because for some people 104 days is a lifetime. So I guess I wake up every morning and I'm so driven to do that. And I'm really grateful for this today about sharing some of these messages to help people, make the best of their life.
No, thank you. Thank you for sharing your story and all your wisdom. I've definitely learned a lot, and I definitely think the audience will as well. But I've got one more question for you. What is your favorite wellness hack?
Look, that's such a tricky one, because there's so many different things that I do incorporate, which are great, like morning routines and gratitudes and movement and, different types of fasting and those type of things. But ultimately, like, what it comes down to for me is breathing. Like, breath is life. And, if we can just take a moment to be present and breathe, it shifts everything. It doesn't matter what type of day you're having or how you're feeling, anxious, or you're having trouble digesting your food, like, just flatten energy. If you just pause and just take a really present breath, and it only has to be a few sometimes, it can change a lot of stuff. And so for me, that's just my go-to, no matter what the circumstances. It often leads on to lots of these other things as well, but every single person can do that. We've all been given that gift of the breath. So for me, it's breathing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Breath is presence. Beautiful. What a great way to wrap up. Thank you so much for joining me today. We've spoken about this before, and I can't wait to continue working with you and get my epigenetic results, optimizing my own health, and obviously share it with my audience along the way. So thank you for your story, as I said, and your wisdom. And for anyone wanting to know more about Angela's work, or perhaps if you're interested in getting your own epigenetic profile, please head to angelajenkins.com.au or kaizenih.com. Thanks so much.